Let me just take a moment to say a word about all the recipients of these medals. You know, it is frequently said that the young people need heroes to look up to and emulate. But in this ceremony today, it's we older people who are doing the admiring and finding inspiration in lives younger than our own. And this is especially fulfilling because it serves to remind us about the caliber of people who will be leading our country in a few years. It is also illustrates how strongly rooted the tradition of the service and terrorism is in American young people. You know, Nathaniel Hawthorne once said that heroes can be heroes only in a heroic world. What he meant, of course, is that service and bravery can be honored only in a society that puts a premium on those qualities. When we honor those who in service and bravery stand out amongst us, we're affirming our own most deeply cherished beliefs and traditions. John Terry is awarded the 1980 Young American Medal for service. John is honored for having taken personal responsibility for the appearance of the street of Philadelphia, not just in front of his house, the whole block. For several years now, he has been regularly sweeping up, cleaning up the entire block, and he doesn't do this because someone told him to. He doesn't get any money or merit badges, or even much in the way of the formal thanks for it. John, you looked around in your hometown. You saw things that needed improving, and instead of writing to Washington or the city hall, you went out and got the job done yourself. And John, I might say it's really good to see you again. You see, usually, ladies and gentlemen, I never meet any of the Young American Medal recipients until they come here to receive their medals. But I met John last year in Philadelphia, where they consider him an example for young people, for adults, and for the whole city.
I've heard about him. John, I think, if I'm correct, it all started with a nearby neighborhood park, and John decided it needed cleaning up, and cleaned it up. And from there on, he took on the chore every day on the block in which he lived. So that's another spirit of American volunteerism, and we need it not just in Philadelphia, but throughout the entire country. So we didn't know this would happen when we met, did we, John? But congratulations. Jeffrey Blake is awarded the 1980 Young American Medal for Service. As a longtime member of his country's American Red Cross chapter, he has earned he has a number of extraordinary accomplishments, such as establishing a Red Cross communication system and a rescue team that has rendered assistance at the scene of many fires and other tragic and unfortunate events. One of the things that has most amazed foreign observers, like the French philosopher de Tocqueville, is their ability, who came to America over 140 years ago, and what he discovered was the capacity of Americans for helping one another. Jeff, you have done an amazing job with an organization that was one of the first to earn Americans their reputation for humanitarianism and compassion. Jeff, I want you to know how proud all of us are. Thank you, Jeff. No, sorry.
Robert Noble is awarded the 1980 Young American Medal for Bravery. One evening, shortly after he graduated from high school, Bob Noble of Fredonia, New York, was at a party when he and his friends heard a tremendous collision along the highway nearby. And when they got to the wreck, they found the car in flames. Bob climbed into the burning automobile several times. He pulled out two persons who, as turned out, had already died of their injuries. Well, one was already dead, and he discovered the other died in his arms. But he saved one woman who otherwise would have surely died in the fire. One thing that should be mentioned about Bob is that he had to overcome urgings of friends who warned him not to get involved in the rescue. It's not that they warned him of the danger. They were, in effect, arguing that it just wasn't smart to get involved in something like this. Bob ignored the argument. He didn't even really listen. He went to that car. He risked his life repeatedly for people that he didn't even know. It was a grisly, harrowing experience, but a life was saved. A hero, someone has said that a hero is no braver than any of us. They're just braver for 5 minutes longer. You were also braver for 5 minutes before.
Michael Brown is awarded the 1980 Young American Medal for Bravery. Michael Brown of Dixon, New Mexico. That struck a nerve with me. Dixon. I'm from Dixon, Illinois. But when he was 13, he acted alone in making a hazardous climb in the dark to aid a severely injured hiker high on a 300-foot high mountain ledge. For several hours, hoping that rescue workers would find him, he clung to her in the darkness, keeping her from sliding over the edge. Michael's a special kind of boy. He lived in a dope house in that mountainous area. No electricity, no frills, very little of what we come to think young Americans need to grow up right. Well, I guess we're wrong. The grown men and women who know this young man, especially the rescue workers who had came to take over after he had been single-handedly preserving this young woman's life for several hours in the rain and darkness, would tell you they don't come any better. Mike, as a fellow Westerner, I am proud to shake your hand.
The 1981 Young American Medal would have been presented today to Jeffrey Jones from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But unfortunately, that's not possible. With us today are Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey Jones, who will be accepting the medal on behalf of their son, Jeffrey Jones. Jeff, an 18-year-old volunteer fireman, died while attempting to save 3 rescue workers who had been overcome by lethal fumes in an underground tank. It's for that sacrifice that he was chosen to accept the medal. This is a reminder, a sad one, that we honor members because they take great risk, and sometimes they have to pay the ultimate price. Mark Reiner is awarded the Young American Medal for Bravery. The incident that took Jeffrey Jones's life nearly took Mark's life. Mark, 18 and a volunteer fireman, was also overcome by the poisonous gases, but he regained consciousness briefly and is able to grab a rescue line.
It all started when an 8-year-old boy fell on a narrow pipe into an underground tank. 2 paramedics and Mark, and finally Jeff, went down that pipe. The little boy's life was saved barely, and Mark had a very narrow escape. When it was all over, 3 men were gone. We are proud, of course, very proud of them. And Mark, we're proud of you too. We can only wonder at the bravery that sent Jeff and Mark into that underground tank. They knew that the 2 paramedics had already passed out, but they felt the need to try, and that is, of course, what makes a hero a hero. He has to try. He may measure the odds and weigh the chances, but in this scenario, it seems that his heart took over and made the decision for him. We have given out these medals to give us something to think about. They're a testament of how good people can be and how spectacular young Americans can be. We are generous for you coming out today. God bless you.